guys. Thank you for having us down here. It's been an awesome evening. It's always great to go around to the counties and see how enthusiastic everyone is for helping us to fix our country. Before I even get into anything else, I want to say that everything I'm going to say here today has to do with restoring the American dream. Why do we have a drug problem in our country? Because people don't have hope. Why aren't people having kids? Because they don't have the money to have kids. It's about getting us back to actually caring about the people, right? It's right in the first sentence of the Constitution. Promote the general welfare, right? There should be no debate about the role of what the federal government is when it comes to helping our communities. And one of those primary roles is to get funds into our local communities. The federal government prints the money, and they can use that money to help us. We spent $8 trillion on 2 different wars that we arguably lost. Now, what if some of that actually came back to us? My name is Michael Kripchak. I'm a graduate of Cheney High School in 2000, born and raised in Youngstown, Ohio. My mom was a union teacher. My dad was a union cop, instrumental in bringing the union into Canfield Police Department. I have a family full of veterans. My brother just retired from the Air Force. I attended the U.S. Air Force Academy out in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Graduated in 2004 with a degree in physics as a distinguished graduate. Then, as I said earlier, I was stationed up at Hanscom Air Force Base near Boston. After the Air Force, came back to Youngstown for a few years, then went out to Los Angeles, worked in the entertainment industry for a bit, decided I needed a career change. So then I attended graduate school out in NYU in New York City. Got a lot of shout outs today. After graduate school, a friend and I started a business doing indoor location tracking for manufacturers. That took us to Erie, PA. Now it's around the time that COVID hit, and just as we were getting off the ground, knocking these out from under us. At the time, my parents were going through some medical issues, so I decided to move back home here to Ohio to help my parents out at home. It's awesome to see so many union members here today. It's awesome to see so many union leaders here today. Our unions are going to be instrumental in restoring America to what it can be. As union membership has gone down, so has wages across our country, so has the wealth gap increased. Increased wealth disparity in societies destroy those societies. It's not me, that's history. And one of the ways we can stop that is through strengthening our unions, starting national industry-wide sector union leadership that can work directly with the Department of Labor to set standards. Just like in the military, we have a reserve corps. As union members go out of work in seasonal jobs, it's vitally important that they continue their training. It's vitally important that they continue their apprenticeships so that when opportunities arise, they are up to date on the techniques and they're able to jump right back into the workforce. Just this last week, it was announced that they're slowing production down, building production down on the Intel plant because they don't have the people to staff it. Education, 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 education. We'll get to that in a moment. We have to increase the minimum wage, index that to inflation. And I was talking about this to Riley and I were at a debate up in Martins Ferry. And when I brought up increasing the minimum wage, all of a sudden Willie and Chai started going off about how, that's just going to raise prices and all of a sudden minimum wage is going to be $100 an hour. How's that going to help anybody? So I just threw my hands up in the air and said, fine, let's just get rid of minimum wage. And they just turned to me and they went like this. Because if they're saying minimum wage isn't good, then what's the proper way to set it? We have to index it to inflation. Because if they're saying minimum wage is too high and can't go any higher now, that means it was too high when it was set 10, 15 years ago, which is ludicrous. Education. We have to reinvigorate our pre-K to 12 education system. We have to get rid of teaching to the test. We have to bring back practical education, even something simple as teaching people how not to be afraid of a stove, teaching people how to change the oil on their car. The level of your citizenry determines the level of your democracy. And we are feeling that. We're feeling that when we can't have people, when we don't have people that can actually man a modern production plant at the Intel plant. One of my primary goals is to bring an innovation sector here to the Ohio River Valley. And this is heavily influenced by what's being done at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base on the western part of our state. They have federal funds coming into there to the Air Force, to the research base, and then all of a sudden there's research small businesses popping up around there. What we're going to do here is bring high-tech manufacturing to this area. We have such an opportunity, just like we used to be decades ago, the connective tissue between Pittsburgh, Columbus, Cleveland. We need to bring high-tech manufacturing here, and then we need to fund the beginning of businesses so that they lock in that manufacturing, making sure it never goes away again. Fundamental to that is, like everyone's been talking about today, infrastructure. Infrastructure, unlike tax cuts, right? They always say, oh, the tax cuts are going to pay for themselves. No. Infrastructure pays for itself dollar for dollar through increased business activity, through increased ability for businesses to actually come into the area and get their businesses going. For education, in order to modernize our education system, one of our primary goals is going to be to bring civics back into our schools, but not civics into the classroom, civics into the community. We need to get our students out for class credit, working with local community organizations, working with different groups that are trying to help the local communities. It's a leadership opportunity, it's a mentorship opportunity, and it's an opportunity for our kids to actually learn what it means to serve, to actually learn about the problems that are going on directly in our communities. And the third plank of our platform is to help serve our farmers. Almost 50% of the farm bill, the funds end up going to big agro corporations. Farmers don't even own the seeds anymore, right? They license them, and they can't replant them. They can't actually rotate the crops to keep the soil fresh, so they have to spend up to 20% of their income on actually bringing in fertilizer from the big agro corps. It gets them into a debt spiral, and agro buys their farms out from under them. We need to protect our farmers from this, and that starts with fixing the farm bill. One of the main initiatives on this front we have is to actually work with the Ohio University system, because we have some of the best research universities in the nation in our state, to work with them to develop publicly available IP seeds, intellectual property seeds, so that they're no longer paying these companies for these seeds, and so that they can plant the field and work with the seeds like Mother Nature intended. Restoring the American dream. Restoring the ability that people have to own homes, to raise families. People on the joker side, I call the GOP's jokers because they're a joke. The people on the joker side believe that the people are here to serve the economy. The economy here is here to serve the people. And we can make it happen.